Well, sadly, guys, you saw it over the weekend. America just been under siege, right? And with more and more of these incidents seeming organized, the violence and more and more people believing that things are going to get worse, particularly this summer with a lot of riots in major cities, we think, at least I think, there could be a real big uptick in demand for guns. And here's the irony. You know, recently there were reports that there are fewer households that have gun ownership. This is just from one report that was in the Wall Street Journal. It's almost baffling because they're saying we've declined from 50% in 1977 to just about 31% right now. But there are a whole lot of other reports that actually contradict this information. And what we know for sure is that gun ownership, it certainly has soared in recent years in America based on data from gun checks, right? If you use, this is the data right here. If you use the data from background checks, these are people who want to get a gun perhaps, so there's a correlation there. It's amazing. It was static for a long time. I mean, we just went straight down here. This is about 7.4 million annually from 2000 to 2007, but it all changed. You know what changed it? The election of Barack Obama. November 2008, that 7 million average, 700,000 average rate went to 1.2 million requests just for that 1 month. That 1 month. It was a record at the time. Since then, from 2008 to 2013, background checks have actually soared. An average of 11 million, 2013, 14 million. Now, recently, the Wall Street Journal NBC poll found that an astonishing 96% of Americans right now, think there will be some racial disturbances this summer in a whole lot of major cities. So the answer to these disturbances, you know what, they're debatable. How do you fix it? How do we make it right? But one thing I think is going to happen is that a lot of citizens, regular people, are going to be looking for greater physical protection. All right, guys, let's talk about this because, you know, again, some real sad, horrific scenes over the weekend, things that remind people that it's important to be safe. And listen, although the Second Amendment, in my mind, has come under extreme attacks, I think it's going to survive right now. But what about the public relations aspect of things like owning a gun? Should gun owners be ashamed? Let's go to Republican strategist Noelle Nickpour. She joins us now. All right, Noelle, what's your assessment of it all?
Well, you know, criminals are always going to be able to find their way to a gun. So that, you know, it's trying to say that the Second Amendment, trying to do anything with that is preposterous. And I feel like that a lot of gun shaming has gone on. Do you remember the time that they published these people's names and addresses that owned guns and how traumatic that was? I feel like that it's always a liberal agenda to use situations to try to curb the appetite on gun control. Right.
Scotty, you know, I don't disagree with her. And when I saw that poll, I mean, I saw that survey, 50% to 31%, it does not jive with the record amount of guns that have been sold in this country. Something ain't right.
Yeah, the numbers are not right. And while, yes, there might be a try to shame gun owners, the truth is it isn't working. That does not work. The key is people just aren't as blatantly out about it. They might get the background checks, but we don't know how many guns they're buying. They're just as strong. You've got the guys, I love the folks that are out there publicly defending the Second Amendment and saying this is my right. But I think more importantly, the majority of Americans, they just go and buy their firearm. They put it away. They don't wave it around. They don't let everybody know they have it. But I guarantee a bad guy steps into their house, they'll let them know and have no problem with that.
Well, we got two guys from Chirac sitting with us. I mean, careful. I mean, listen, I hate to say it, but you know, we all know Chicago's now become the poster child for you know, just everything wrong with an urban city. Every Monday morning, you've got the list. You know, lots of people killed, lots of kids killed. Yep. It can be a dangerous place. What do you make?
You know, it's unfortunate what's happening. I will say I think Rahm Emanuel is doing a good job. Superintendent McCarthy, who runs the police force, he's doing a great job. They're really trying to make a difference.
Well, you said they're doing a great job, but the numbers still are pretty high.
But they're going down. The numbers are going down. You know, it's fact that they've decreased them drastically over the last 2 years. But it starts in the home. And that's the bottom line. We've got to make the environment better for these kids. We've got to get people working again in these areas where the unemployment rate is at 30–40%.
One of these kids comes to you for a job. Have you hired some of them? Like you see a kid with a red bandana, you think he might be down with the Bloods, but you think you can turn him, you give him a shot?
Well, you know, I'm very involved with the Mercy Home for Boys and Girls in Chicago. I sit on their board, and we take all different kinds of kids in, and we provide them with counseling, with mentoring, with tutoring. We arm them with the tools they need in order to succeed, and that's what it's going to take. Right. It's a big shift that needs to take place.
You agree, Steve?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. you know, I thought of that this weekend in Chicago. I was in Lincoln Park at Little League game for my little boy. There were almost as many dad coaches as there were players out there. That is not happening on the west side of Chicago, which is really a shame. But listen, as far as gun control, Chicago is case A of the folly of gun control, because gun control makes sure that only bad guys have guns and not good guys, and that is exactly what's happened on the west side of Chicago.
Hillary, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what's going on. Now, here in the Northeast, here in New York, I mean, gun ownership isn't as prevalent, certainly, but I think that the trend is definitely going there, and that's why it makes sense to be in a Smith & Wesson or be in an RGR. It just makes sense because guns will be bought. We have too much unrest, and the police forces, part of the problem is that they have been let go. They have been streamlined, and that's why we're having so many of the problems we're having. We don't have police that are doing community relations.
I hope we don't see more things like in Baltimore where they restrain the police force so much that it actually emboldens the crowd to get that mob mentality.
Yep. Well, I'm not a gun owner, and I'm completely for the Second Amendment, but I'm not personally a gun owner, and I don't think they really get shamed. I think that's a very small minority of America that's shaming the gun owners. I think we all have the right to do that. My problem is I don't think people are going to run and start buying guns because of that 96%. I'm into 96%. I may get a better lock in my door, but I'm not going to run and buy a gun.
So would you buy any gun stocks here?
No, I would not. And RGR report after the bell, down about 5%. I like Legion, which is a company that makes these big locks.
Also, guys, Taser. I had Taser on Fox Business at $12. It's 34, 35. Wow. That's probably going to go higher, and I still like Smith & Wesson. Noel, I'm going to give you the last word on this. What do you think? I mean, I think gun ownership is certainly going to continue to go up, no matter what the stats say, because I think Americans are somewhat afraid.
Well, especially in the South, and I'm from Arkansas, and you know what? A lot of people will campaign on the fact that the opposition, the liberal Democrat, is trying to take their rights away with guns. So in the South and a lot of states down here, it's a very popular campaign message when you start to threaten the Second Amendment.
Real quick, Steve, what's your pick?
Charles, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms is not just a federal agency, it's an investing strategy. So I like all of the above, but I particularly like Smith & Wesson.
All right, Smith & Wesson, and you said?
Well, Smith & Wesson, but RGR, which reported and actually
buy it on weekends.
On revenue.
All right, guys.